It was the night of the Champions League final. I was excited. The two best teams in Europe were going to play each other. It's one of my favorite evenings of the summer. As always, I'm going to watch this game with 4 of my best friends. These evenings get a little bit spicy if we disagree on certain topics. I get to the venue, and within 5 minutes, my friend says something I totally disagree with. And I say, "What are you talking about?" And just like that, the first football debate of the evening started. My friend gave his point of view, made some interesting points, but I knew exactly what I was going to say to win this debate. And then it's my turn. All eyes are on me. I know what I want to say, but Brian tells me to rush. They haven't got time to wait for me. I rush my point, and then when trying to explain my point, my mind goes blank. I lose the football debate. On my drive home, all of those ideas that were playing hide and seek moments later are crystal clear. And I'm thinking about all of the things I should have said when my friend said this, or I should have said that when my friend said that. How annoying is that? When moments after those really important conversations, you get all of the clearest ideas. But imagine if we could get that retrospective thinking in the present. How many more opportunities will that bring? Studies at the University of Michigan help us understand why our cognitive abilities decline under pressure. So what's happening to our brain when we're under pressure? Why can we not do the same? And it's because of 2 main things. The first one is called the distraction theory, which simply states when we're doing something, rather than focusing on the task, when we're under pressure, we focus on other things like, what if we fail? What are people going to say? What if people judge us if we don't do as well? And that stops us from doing the thing really well. Or the second thing is called explicit monitoring. This is when things that generally are automatic tend to become difficult because of overthinking. And I have a friend who told me she once walked past a group of people she found intimidating, and she forgot how to walk, just because of how intimidating it was. Now, I know a thing or two about my brain letting me down in moments that matter the most. In 2018, I was ranked 3rd in the Italian national list over 400 meters. This is good news, because 2 weeks before nationals, I thought, if I come in the top 3 at nationals, I'm going to compete for Italy at the European Championships. I had a great plan with my coach. 400 meters is a long way. So I'm going to run the first 200 meters quite conservative, and then run the second 200 meters as fast as I can. We do this in practice, and I'm running record-breaking times in training. So not only do I think I can get top 3, I might actually become national champion. I fly to Italy, very optimistic, but on race day, things started to feel a bit strange. The nerves kicked in, my heart was beating faster than usual, my legs were a bit shaky, and Brian told me, "You haven't got the energy today. Change up the race plan. Run the first 200 meters really fast, and then just see what you got." So the gun goes, and I go all out. I run as fast as I can, and by 200 meters, I'm in first place. But 400 meters is a long way. At the 300 point, everyone's within reach, so I can still get my top 3, but I had no energy. And by the time the race finished, despite my best efforts, I narrowly missed out on Europeans. If only I could be the best version of myself, even under pressure. Years later, in a totally new career, I never thought I would hear from Brian again. But I was wrong. I got an inbound inquiry from the managing director of a big construction company. This was exciting. I'm an entrepreneur, and he wants my help. He wants me to train him and his team on their ability to speak and communicate. This is my bread and butter, easy. I turn up to the meeting knowing exactly what I wanted to say. I've practiced. I try and build rapport, I crack some jokes, but the managing director doesn't laugh. Brian tells me, I don't think he likes you. Within 5 minutes, the managing director says, "Look, I'm going to be honest, I'm keeping my options open. But why should I work with your organization?" My mind goes blank. I try and explain the value, the reason why they should work with us, but I don't do it very well. And then I hear those dreaded words. We'll get in touch. I still haven't heard from him. But this doesn't compare to the pressure that I felt when 7 million people were watching me on a week-by-week basis. That was tough. I was on The Apprentice, and after losing the second task, I thought, I might go home. I'm in the boardroom, and Alan Sugar points at one of my fellow candidates and says, "You've been really quiet. Tell me why I shouldn't fire you. Why were you not responsible for the failure of the task?" In that moment, it felt as if time stood still. I saw what typically happens to me happen to someone else. She knew she wasn't responsible for the failure of the task, and so did I. But in that moment, it was as if she was muted. She couldn't speak. Now, I thought this is the perfect time to advocate for someone, because I know she wasn't responsible. And as I was just about to speak, Brian tells me, if you speak for her, you might lose your spot. Just stay quiet. She gets fired. Not only did I feel like I let her down, I felt like I let myself down. And that really ignited the fire in me to help me understand what happens when we're under pressure. Why is it that when we're speaking to friends and family, we're okay, but when we're in the classrooms or when we're in the boardrooms, it's difficult? And I try and figure it out. So I did lots of research on how we can become great communicators, especially under pressure. And there are 3 things that are widely regarded as important to be a great communicator. And that's effective delivery and body language, storytelling, building rapport. But one of the skills that most people don't think about is your ability to stay calm under pressure. And without this, all the other 3 are almost impossible. So when figuring out the blueprint, I thought, how am I going to teach this? And I think I figured it out. To show you, we're going to play a game. And if you're watching at home, I want you to play too. In a moment, I'm going to give you guys clear instructions. You're going to do this exercise in pairs. In your pair, one person will be the game master, the other person will be the gamer. One person will be the game master, other person will be the gamer. The game master will give the gamer one word, the first word that comes to mind. For example, shirt. And the gamer has 20 seconds to say a chain of words that associate with the word that they are just given. So if the game master gave me shirt, I could say tie, suit, trousers, shop. To decide who's going to be the gamer and who's going to be a game master, I need you guys to put your hand up, because the person with the longest arms will be the gamer. So please discover who's going to be the gamer and who's going to be the game master in your pairs. If you got the longer arms, you're going to be the gamer. Fantastic. Now, I'm going to say go. Game master, give the gamer a word. Gamer, you have 20 seconds. When I say time, give me your attention back as soon as possible, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Ten seconds left. 3, 2, 1, time. How interesting. I said, say a chain of words, but what some of you heard was, say as many words as I can. And how do I know that? Because he said loads of words in the first 5 seconds, then your mind went blank. Or when you're thinking of words, you're saying, and that shows me that your brain went into fight or flight, where it tries to process things really, really quickly. So we're going to do that exercise again. In round 2, I want you to go at a pace that's comfortable for you. Take your time. It's not a race. Even if your brain tells you to rush, you do the opposite. If in 20 seconds you say 5 words, that's perfectly fine. I just want them to match and associate with a word that you are given. So game masters, please give the gamers their new word, and let's see how round 2 goes. 3, 2, 1, go. Don't rush, don't rush. Ten seconds gone. 3, 2, 1, time. That seemed a lot better. You looked a lot more relaxed, a lot calmer. You maintained eye contact. You didn't seem as panicky. And that's because in round 2, I equipped you on how to deal with Brian. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who's Brian? Brian is simply that voice in your head. The voice that tells you to rush. The voice that tells you to keep quiet because people may be judging you. Every day we have over 60,000 thoughts in our brain. Most of them are negative. And I tried to figure out how can we get rid of these negative talks so we can be the best version of ourselves. But that talk is just your brain trying to protect you. Brian has been there since we were born and it thinks it's protecting us. But let's face it, whether you're in a classroom or boardroom, you never have a lion chasing you. So it's never actually as scary as Brian says it should be. So if Brian never goes away, then how can we get rid of it? Or how can we best deal with Brian in our everyday lives? It can be as simple as A, B, C. A, anticipate what Brian is going to tell you. For me, Brian tells me to speak fast because I don't like attention and people can look elsewhere. And if I know Brian's going to tell me that, I can anticipate it and then move to the second step, which is B. Before it takes over, name it. When your hands are sweaty, your heart starts beating, and the voice starts telling you, I don't know if it's going to go too well, name it. This is Brian. This is not how I truly feel. It's my brain trying to protect me. And then C, take control. Because even though Brian will always have a vote, you're the one that's in charge. Doing these 3 things will not silence Brian, but it will help you best deal with those intrusive thoughts. And in doing so, you can unmute yourself. You can speak up and be a voice. It's important that we unmute ourselves, not just for our potential, but so we can use our voice to advocate for people and to spread love, because that's what the world needs. So next time you're in that moment when the pressure's on and you know you have to speak, A, anticipate what Brian's going to tell you. B, before it takes over, name it. This is not me, this is Brian. And C, take control. Because once you unlock your voice, you don't just change your life, but other people's life as well. My name's Frederick Afrifa. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.